Hello everybody. We're going to talk today about garlic mustard, a spring biennial plant that in the United States is considered an invasive weed. It is everywhere in New England right now and does spread itself largely through seeds, but I use it in the spring. We're close to the end of the time when it really needs to be pulled out, but I wanted to show you how pretty a vase of these are. Now I have been using garlic mustard before it flowered this spring, but the flower is white. I'll get up close so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, this is a typical mustard type flower. You can see what the leaves look like of the garlic mustard. But before I pull it all out, and I'm going to pull it before it makes seeds, I decorate my house with it because it's so pretty. And this would be pretty with some colored flowers popped in it too. But everything, you know, has its moment, and invasives are certainly problematic, but dealt with appropriately can bring you a lot of pleasure and some good eating. Hey folks, taking a look at our spring weeds again. This is garlic mustard. I think I'm seeing it now everywhere. It is invading, as the invasive species professionals say, invading everywhere. It mostly spreads itself through seeds, but this time of year when it is just full of leaves and barely starting to get its flower thing going, it's delicious. I've already eaten quite a bit of it. I like it fresh as part of a salad, but it's also yummy, partially blanched or steamed and made into a pesto, and with some other ingredients, of course. But there's any number of possible ways to use it, and it would be nice to use these things, right, instead of demonizing them. Now you may want to pull them, and if you pull them or dig them right up from their roots, because they probably will come back from those roots. But use them, eat them, enjoy them. So garlic mustard is in the cruciferous family, like broccoli, cauliflower, other mustards, of course, and it is nutritious, as they all are, with vitamin C and vitamin K and fiber, and can be very, very healthy for you. The botanical name is Aliaria petiolata. It is a biennial. I think I mentioned that before. As I read about it, the one thing that a few people say online is that it does contain some amounts of cyanide, very common chemical found in this family of plants. Cyanide is water soluble, so when this is blanched or steamed or sauteed, that is going to dissipate. That is not an uncommon thing. Plants have chemicals in them to keep things from eating them to the point where they're extinct. And we eat a lot of things that have some type of chemical that's designed to keep critters from eating it. This garlic mustard is starting to flower up. You can barely see the flower, but there it is, just starting, and I'll come back another day. So if you have garlic mustard and you're worried about it spreading, start to pull it. It pulls out very easily. It has pretty shallow roots. There we go. And then you can put it somewhere where it will dry out so that it won't reroot, although I've never had one reroot. But it is not going to spread by roots underground and be impossible to pull out. If you've got it somewhere you don't want it, pull it, eat it, compost it, and don't worry about it. Staying on top of it is important if you're concerned about it spreading all over. But at this point, it's very easy to take out. Now you can pull it by hand, of course, and if you do, wiggle it good so that you get the whole taproot, because it does have a bunch of shallow roots, but it also has one main taproot, and it's probably helpful to get that out. I don't know if when you pull most of it out and that breaks off, whether that'll form another plant or not. I'll experiment this year to see if that's true. But
a small spade would easily loosen the dirt enough to make sure you get the taproot.
It's still early. This is just the beginning of this season for this wild thing. By the way, this plant is native to Europe, Asia, North Africa, and actually is found all over the place at this point. It is a hardy cedar, and each plant can produce somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 or more seeds per season, which is how it gets its invasion going wherever it happens to go. And that's why we encourage people to get it pulled before it flowers. Now, when some of the plants do flower, they make a nice cut flower, and you can enjoy that, but then you've got to get them out of the ground before they spread their seeds. So, my plan is to eat a few of these, dipped in a little ranch dressing. Yum. And others I'm going to steam or saute with some onions and maybe some seasoning, maybe a few other things. I love this flavor. Not everybody does, but it's certainly worth a try. And it's free, and it's in our backyard. Just make sure nobody has sprayed herbicides anywhere where you're pulling this from, or you'll get herbicided. Best wishes. So here's a couple of my favorite books about looking at ways to deal with invasive plants. There isn't tons of information in these about garlic mustard specifically, but there's some. But there's information about lots of other things. So I'll also list these books in the comments. But these kind of resources help you to feel more comfortable in your environment in general. And I like these too. Additionally, there's a lot of information appearing now on using garlic mustard in recipes on the World Wide Web, so I encourage people to go check out what other foragers and farmers have learned about how to use these plants. And I'll list a couple of those also in the comments.